Hey everyone, I'm Howard, and this is Otter's Retirement Corner. So we're going to take a little break from Social Security discussions today, to be continued because there's a lot happening. Today I want to talk about insurance, the scourge of all of our existences, um, necessary evil. And I've talked about it before. Insurance companies suck. They're difficult to work with. They don't want to pay what they're supposed to pay. They charge you an arm and a leg, and very often you don't need it, but when you do, you want it to be there, and very often they're not, and you have to fight, 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 fight for everything you can get from them. Insurance companies control more money and wealth than banks in our country. So, that's where the money is. That's where your money goes. And I just want to go over what I have for insurance, my wife and what we spend, and how really ridiculous it is. And even though I say it's ridiculous, it's, like I said, a necessary evil. You have to cover things that you can't pay for out of your own pocket, or that if you did pay for out of your own pocket, it would crush you, it would hurt you. Um, I could lose my car and I can buy a new car, but if I don't have to and insurance covers it, fine. Is it worth the premium? That's what we have to decide when we buy any kind of insurance, and that's a little bit what I'll talk about. And as retirees, with no income, typically other than, for a lot of people, Social Security, and for some people, Social Security and whatever savings they have, you want to keep those big losses to a minimum. So here's what I have, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Homeowners insurance. All of those, you own a home. You don't have to have it if you own the home. If you have a mortgage, you have to have it. If you rent either a home or an apartment, you should have renter's insurance, but not quite as important as homeowners. If you tally up the cost of everything you buy inside your house, is it 40, 50, $60,000? Maybe you can afford to lose that and don't want it, but that's a decision each of us have to make. So my homeowner's insurance covers my house to just over 600,000. I forget what the exact number is. I pay $242 a month. Shockingly, this went down a couple dollars a month from last year. I live in Florida, and the big news in Florida is always homeowners insurance is crushing people. And for some reason, I didn't call and ask, my rate went down this year. So I pay $242 a month, or $29.04 annually. And again, my house gets wiped out by fire or whatever catastrophe, I don't want to come up with $600,000. I'd probably be less than that to rebuild the house. The land wouldn't get damaged, but it's a necessary evil. I got to have it. And that's what I have. By the way, I'm covered by State Farm, someone I've had for a long time, and because I bundle all my policies, I get lower rates, so I'm kind of stuck. I could switch if I want to, but I don't know that I could find a rate as low as I get from them. And when I say as low, just compared to other companies, these aren't low rates. Compare that to what you guys are paying. Tell me in what state you're in and what you pay and how much coverage you have, and we'll see. Is Florida really that bad, or are you somewhere worse? Are you in New Jersey where it's worse, or California, whatever the case. All right, so now I also have flood insurance, and unique to Florida is, I live in a swamp. Everybody in, Florida's a swamp. We tend to flood pretty easily. I'm not in what would be called, a flood zone, but, with the number of hurricanes we have and the heavy rains we get in the summer, it's something I just wanted to add, and I didn't think the cost was that crushing. You decide. It's 72 a month or 864 a year. Some people would find that to be a lot of money. So combined for my home, I'm at $3,768 a year. It's over $300 a month. That's almost a car payment, but I feel that's something I have to have, and I'm going to insure this house and make sure I don't have a loss. So now we got auto insurance, and this is my car. I drive a Toyota Prius. It's 10, almost 10 years old now. And again, I got my statement for this year, and it's $83 a month or 996 a year, and that's gone down substantially in the last 2 years. I don't know what's up with that, and again, I'm not asking. Um, usually as cars, get older and new cars inflate, especially with the tariffs coming, I would normally see that go up, but it has gone down. And I don't know if State Farm is having a good experience with auto insurance in Florida and they're able to adjust their rates, but that's where I'm at. Now, my wife's auto, a little bit different. She has a Subaru Forester, but she also still owns a motorcycle. So liability on motorcycles is ridiculous. And the way it works out, they sort of offload the motorcycle liability part into your cars. So, you have to sort of take this as a whole package. So I didn't break it out because it wouldn't make any sense. It's almost like the motorcycle's free, but it's not. So, she pays 80, I'm sorry, she pays 175. You can see, more than twice what I pay just because she has a motorcycle, or $2,100 a year. It's ridiculous. Her Subaru Forester is 12 years old. Her motorcycle's like 15 years old. She almost never rides it. We're stuck with that. Okay, so now we'll get to health insurance. And I, being over 65, I have Medicare Part B. Like everybody else, I pay $185 a month or $22.20 a year. It is what it is. No one's getting a better rate than that. All right, so I also have a Medigap plan, which is a plan that covers everything that my Part B doesn't pay. So I have a plan where I pay what seems like a lot, $224 a month or $26.88 a year. And that will pay everything Medicare Part B doesn't pay. So I used to have a policy where I was paying about $80 a month and there was a deductible and it would pay about 80% of what Medicare Part B didn't pay after the deductible. So it wasn't covering anything. So my total out of pocket was unknown. Now I know what my total out of pocket is going to be, which in essence is zero, because they'll cover everything Medicare doesn't pay. So between these two, $409 a month, I know that's all I'm going to pay for health care, other than prescriptions. We'll get that in a second. So, I when I switched over from that $77 a month partial Medigap plan that paid part of what Part B didn't pay, I calculated if I spent out of pocket on that old plan about $1,800 a year, I was better off doing this. But that's when the rate was $200 instead of $224. So that other policy went up from 77 to I forget 90 something. So my break even is about $1,900 out of pocket, and last year it would have been well over that. So I did better with this plan. This year, we'll see how it rolls out. I could always change. If I stop going to doctors and emergency rooms, and as much as I've been doing, and I've already had 6 visits to the radiology departments and to get scanned. So we'll see how that plays out. But so I know exactly what it's a little under $5,000 a year, and that's going to be it. I'm going to pay that. I'm not going to pay more. I'm not going to pay less. So then when it comes to prescription drugs, I have a Part D plan, which is a zero premium. And, I'm not sure why it works like this, but for the prescriptions I have, you can go onto the Medicare website and you can plug in your prescriptions and it'll show you the plans in your state and how much you would pay premium plus, the out-of-pocket for the prescriptions for your particular prescriptions. And you can just pick the plan where you pay the lowest, whatever that combination is. It may be a high premium with low out-of-pocket, or maybe a low premium with a higher out-of-pocket, which theoretically is mine, but most of my prescriptions are under $10. I get $1 here. Sometimes there's zero. So if something else comes up and I have to suddenly start taking other prescriptions, I could get hurt on that, but I'm not going to plan for that at this point. If something changes and I have a condition where I need something all the time, maybe I'll make a change. So At this point, I spent like $15, $20 on prescriptions last year. I'll spend roughly that this year, so I'm not too concerned about that. All right, so now we get to commercial health because my wife, as many as you know, retired. She's a long way from Medicare, so she had to go out and buy a private plan. It's a high deductible plan. Um, it's like a 70-30 split, so she's going to pay 30% of most of her costs after a high deductible. So it's kind of a low premium at 180 a month or 2160 a year. We'll see how that plays out. She got it on the healthcare exchange, the ACA healthcare exchange. So there was a subsidy there. So we have to kind of manage our income now. Um, that we can do that probably for a few years and see how that goes, and then maybe adjust after that. It's an insurance company I've never heard of. I can't even remember the name of it, but we'll see. We can always change. And then I have an umbrella liability policy. Because we have some assets, if something were to happen and we'd be liable, and homeowners doesn't cover it, or auto insurance doesn't cover it all, or we get sued. I added an umbrella liability policy. And right now, I just got the new statement for that. It's $56 a month. This was closer to about $30 a month. So it's $672 a year. It was closer to 300 and something a year. It jumped 40% this year, and I just got this bill last week. So anything I get sued for, or basically that's what we're talking about. Someone trips on my sidewalk, or whatever happens. I don't know what calamity I can think of. We have $1 million of coverage. I'm going to shop that. I asked State Farm, why did it go up 40%? And they came back with, well, we had a loss experience in Florida with our liability, where we had to raise our rates 40%. And that's BS. It's just BS. He lied to me. There's no, it's not like there was a hurricane or some calamity that caused everybody to make a lot of claims. This is particular to every individual. So, there's no trend that would cause that. It's not like a lot more car accidents cause that. It's possible, that their normal liability didn't cover it, but most people have umbrella liability, have very few claims. It's $1 million of insurance for like $300 a year. Suddenly it's $600. What happened? They won't answer me back because I challenged them on this. So we'll shop that and we'll see what happens. So anyway, as a retiree, we've got to cover our asses. This is what this is all about. Tell me what your experiences are. Tell me, hey, you're an idiot. You're paying too much money, or, I get it. Tell me what you're paying. Tell me, where you live, what your thoughts are on this, what your beliefs are. I know some people don't believe in insurance at all and won't pay it. And if they don't have an occurrence of some kind, they'll be fine. If not, you're screwed. Okay, so thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.